As far as documentation, what types of documents do you guys request?
I would say that the list for a self-employed borrower is a little bit shorter because we won't necessarily have pay stubs or W-2s. Now, you can have a self-employed borrower that is paying him or herself out of the business.
Okay.
So you could have W-2s or pay stubs. In those instances, then you would have additional documents. But typically a self-employed person, your traditional self-employed person, would not be providing as many documents.
Okay. Now, generally speaking, do lenders tend to request 2 years when it comes to self-employment as far as history, documents, things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what happens there is we always run our files through an automated system. So we're going online, and it's automated underwriting system. And we have two different systems we'll use, not to get into it too much here, but DU and LP, Desktop Underwriting, and Loan Prospector. Those are the two systems that we use. And you'll hear loan officers a lot of times talk about how important it is for us to get an approval through that system, that AUS approval. That AUS approval, not to get off into the weeds too much, but it's going to look at income based on the application that we submitted in the system, and it will tell us if we need 1 or 2 years. Loan Prospector, historically, has been the system that typically would require only 1 year tax return. But what I would say the safe answer is that is totally on a case-by-case basis. I had one recently, not a self-employed borrower, that a buyer looking to purchase up in Denver. And on the surface, very clean file, but when we ran it through the automated system, we did not get an approval. And so you can kind of play with things and tweak things in the automated system to see if there's some way that you can document that file and make it work. But that automated system is really important. The approval that we get specifically for a self-employed individual in that income section, it will tell us how many years. The good rule of thumb is 2. And then we run the approval and say, hey, we requested those 2 years returns, but we're not going to include your 2017 returns in the submission to underwriting. So we want to streamline the file and make it as simple, which is silly to say. It's never simple, but we want to, as much as possible, try and simplify the file. So in those instances where we do only need 1 year, we're like, yay.
Right.
It's less for the underwriter to look at. And what it comes down for the client is it's less documentation and less to explain. So it makes it easier.
Fabulous.